Hi students, and welcome to this chapter, which is trigonometry. Trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with the studies of triangles and the relationships between their sides and angles. Every right angle that you can imagine would include the application of trigonometry. It is applied in various branches of science like architecture, astronomy, electronics, mechanical engineering, oceanography, optics, seismology, geophysics, and many other such branches. It is also a very fascinating branch of mathematics. So, in this chapter, we will introduce ourselves with the basics of trigonometry to experience the beauty of this branch. So, without wasting any moment, let's begin. So, let's start with this important branch of mathematics, which is known as the trigonometry. Now, let me ask you, what is the name of this famous monument? Yeah, this is the famous Eiffel Tower in Paris, which attracts thousands of tourists all over the world. Now, definitely we know that Eiffel Tower is a very tall monument. So now what is the height of Eiffel Tower? Now, do we use a measuring tape to find the height of this tower? No, we take the help of trigonometry. But how? That's something we are going to see later. Let's take one more example. Let us say that this is a balloon and this is flying in the air, and this is moving horizontally towards the right side. Now there is a boy who observes this balloon at a position A. Let us say that this position of balloon is A. Now this boy gets so excited that he goes into the house and calls his dog. So in the meantime, this balloon transverses horizontally and it reaches this point. And at this moment, the boy comes along with his dog. Now he observes the balloon at the position B. So we see that this balloon has moved from the position A to position B. Now can you tell me how much distance has the balloon moved during this time? So again we can make this measurement using the tool of trigonometry. But now what is trigonometry and how does it help us to calculate such measurements like heights of buildings, monuments, and so on? So that's something we are going to explore in this chapter. We are going to see the basics of trigonometry in this chapter. And we are going to make ourselves familiar with all the concepts involved in this chapter. So first of all, what do we mean by trigonometry? We can actually split this word into three parts: tri, gono, and metry. Now what do we mean by tri? Tri means three. What do we mean by gono? Gono means sides, and metry comes from the word metron, and this means measurement. So all these words when combined together is the measurement of three sides. And also we know that a figure with three sides is nothing but a triangle. So now what we can say is, in broader sense, trigonometry is a branch of mathematics which deals with the measurements of sides and the angles of a triangle and the problems allied with the angles. So we can say that trigonometry is nothing but a branch that deals with the measurements of sides and the angles of a triangle. Now let's look at brief history of trigonometry. How does this trigonometry evolved? The earliest known work on trigonometry was recorded in Egypt and Babylon. So Egyptians were the first to use trigonometry, and our historians have a record of that. Also, the early astronomers used it to find out the distances of the stars and planets. So astronomy used the tool of trigonometry to find out the distances of stars and planets from the earth. So what we can infer is trigonometry has its roots in mathematics from ancient times. Now before we go deep into trigonometry, it's important to understand what do we mean by an angle. Let us say that this is a ray. Ray has an endpoint and it goes on indefinitely in one direction. So let us say that this is a ray and this is the initial point. Now if we keep the initial point as it is and rotate this ray this way in the anti-clockwise direction, then it would be somewhat this way, and what we get is this figure. So when we rotate a ray keeping its initial point the same, we get this sort of figure. So in this figure, this side is known as the initial side. So initially the ray had this orientation, and when it is rotated, it reaches this point and this becomes the terminal side. This initial point is known as the vertex. So this point is actually the vertex of the angle. So this figure with an initial side and a terminal side and also a vertex is known as an angle. Or we can say that an angle is considered as a figure obtained by rotating a given ray about its initial point. So we have seen here that we have rotated this ray about the initial point. The original ray before rotation is known as the initial side, and the final position of the ray after rotation is known as the terminal side. So this is the final side and this is known as the terminal side. Also, the point of rotation, we have seen this ray is rotated about this point. So this point is known as the vertex. Now this figure is formed when the ray is rotated in an anti-clockwise direction. Now let us say that this is also a ray, and now we rotate this ray in the clockwise direction and thus it reaches this point. Now again, this figure represents an angle. Here again, initial side is this one. This is the original ray and this is rotated in a clockwise direction. Here the final side is known as the terminal side and this point is known as the vertex. So this is also an angle, but here the ray is rotated in a clockwise direction. Now, whenever the ray is rotated in the anti-clockwise direction, this angle formed is always taken as positive. And when the ray is rotated in the clockwise direction, then this angle is always taken as negative. So as a convention, we always take angle in a clockwise direction as negative and angle in an anti-clockwise direction as positive. So this is all about an angle. Angle has an initial side and a terminal side and also the initial point, which is known as the vertex. Now what do we mean by pi? The ratio of the circumference to the diameter of a circle is always equal to a constant, and this constant is denoted by the Greek letter pi. So the actual definition of pi is the ratio of the circumference to the diameter of a circle is equal to a constant, and this constant is called as pi. Now let us say that this is a circle and this represents the diameter of the circle. Now let's say there are 2 points which are located diametrically opposite to each other. Now if we say that this point moves along the circumference and this point moves along the diameter, then the ratio of the distances traveled by these two particles is actually equal to pi. So this represents the circumference. So the distance moved by the blue particle is actually the circumference or the periphery of this circle, and the distance moved by this particle, which is the green particle, is known as the diameter. So pi is equal to circumference divided by the diameter. So pi is nothing but equal to the distance moved by the blue particle divided by the distance moved by the green particle. The constant pi is actually an irrational number, and its approximate value is taken as 22/7. In our previous classes also we have seen that pi is an irrational number. Irrational because it is a non-terminating and non-recurring decimal. So we cannot calculate the exact value of pi. But for our convenience, we take the approximate value of pi as 22/7 because it reduces our calculations. So pi is actually the ratio of circumference to the diameter of a circle, and it is an irrational number whose value is generally taken as 22/7. Now let's see the different systems of measurement of an angle. So now angle is a quantity which is measured, and now we are going to see the different methods or the different systems of measurement of an angle. Now as such, there are 3 systems of measurement of an angle. The first is the sexagesimal system, or which is known as the English system. The second is the centesimal system, and which is actually the French system. And the third one is the circular system or the radian system. So there are 3 systems of measurement of an angle. The first is the sexagesimal, which is also known as the English system. The second is the centesimal system, which is actually the French system. And the third one is the circular system, which is also known as the radian system. So one by one we are going to see these three systems of measurement of an angle. The first system is the sexagesimal system, or which is also known as the degree measure system. So what exactly is the sexagesimal system? Here, the principal unit in this system is degree. So degree is the principal or the basic unit of measurement in this system. Now let us say that this is a right angle, and if we start dividing this angle into equal units, you can see we are dividing this right angle into equal units such that there are 90 equal parts. So we have divided this right angle into 90 equal parts. So we have divided this right angle into 90 equal parts, and each of these equal parts is called as 1 degree. So every equal part is equal to 1 degree. Now again we consider this 1 degree. Let us say that this represents 1 degree, and again we start dividing this 1 degree into 60 equal parts. Then we get 1 minute. So 1 degree is divided into 60 equal parts, and each of these 60 equal parts is called as 1 minute. Now again we take this 1 minute. Let us say that this represents 1 minute, and again we start dividing this 1 minute into 60 equal parts, and thus what we get is every equal part is equal to 1 second. So in this system of measurement, we divide a right angle into 90 equal parts such that each and every equal part is called as 1 degree. Further, every degree is divided into 60 equal parts, and each of these 60 equal parts are called as minutes. Further, we divide a minute into 60 equal parts, and the equal parts are called as seconds. So in the sexagesimal system, what we can say is one right angle is equal to 90 degrees. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes, and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. This is the way we denote a degree, this is the way we denote a minute, and this is the way we denote seconds. Now let's look at the second system of measurement, which is called as the centesimal system or the French system. In this system, the principal unit is grade and is denoted by small g. So the basic or the principal unit of measurement in the centesimal system is known as grade, and it is denoted by small g. Now again we take a right angle, and what we do is we divide this right angle into 100 equal parts. So each of these 100 equal parts is known as 1 grade. So once again we take a right angle and divide it into 100 equal parts such that every equal part is known as 1 grade. Now let us say that this is 1 grade, and again we start dividing this grade into 100 equal parts. So when we divide this into 100 equal parts, we call every equal part as 1 minute. Further, let's consider this as 1 minute, and we again start dividing into 100 equal parts. So each of these equal parts is known as 1 second. So in this system of measurement, what we do is we divide a right angle into 100 equal parts such that every equal part is known as 1 grade. Then we take 1 grade and divide it into 100 equal parts such that each of these equal parts are known as 1 minute. And further, we take this 1 minute and divide it into again 100 equal parts, and every equal part is known as 1 second. So what we can say is, in the centesimal system, one right angle is equal to 100 grades. 1 grade is equal to 100 minutes, and 1 minute is equal to 100 seconds. So grade is represented this way, minutes is represented this way, and seconds is represented this way. So the basic difference between these two systems is that in the sexagesimal system or the degree measure system, we divide a right angle into 90 equal parts such that every equal part is called as 1 degree. Further, we divide 1 degree into 60 equal parts such that every equal part is known as 1 minute, and then we further divide this 1 minute into 60 equal parts, and each of these equal parts are known as seconds. On the other hand, in the centesimal system, we again take a right angle, but now we divide it into 100 equal parts such that every equal part is known as grade. Then this grade is further divided into 100 equal parts such that every part is known as 1 minute, and then 1 minute is further divided into 100 equal parts, once that all the equal parts are called as 1 second. Now let's see the relation between the degree and the grade system. So how to convert if an angle is given in the degree measure into a grade measure, or if an angle is given in the grade measure system to the degree measure system. Now we have seen that one right angle is equal to 90 degrees in the sexagesimal system, and one right angle is equal to 100 grades in the centesimal system. Now from this what we can see is 90 degrees is equal to 100 grades. So the common relation between these two systems is that 90 degrees is always equal to 100 grades. So based on that we can say that d by 90 is equal to g by 100. So this is the equation that helps us to convert an angle which is given in degree form to a grade form, or an angle which is given in the grade form to a degree form. So this is actually the relation between degree and grade. Further, what we can write is 1 degree is equal to 10 by 9 grades, or 1 grade is equal to 9 by 10 degrees. Thus 1 degree is equal to 10 by 9 grades, and 1 grade is equal to 9 by 10 degrees. So this is the relation between the degree and grade. This relation helps us to calculate the measure of an angle in grade if it is given in degree, or vice versa. Now let's look at the third system of measurement, which is known as the circular system. Now in the circular system, the unit of measurement is radian, and further 1 radian is written as this. So in the circular system, the unit of measurement is radian, and 1 radian is written in this form. Now what is 1 radian? Let us say that this is a circle, and let us say that this represents a diameter of the circle. Now A and B are the two diametrically opposite points. Now let us say that the radius of the circle is r units. Now from the point A we draw an arc, and let us say that this reaches the point C. Now we have taken this arc in such a way that the measure of the length of this arc is equal to r units, or the radius of this circle. Now from the center, if we draw a line to the point C, that would be equal to the radius. This angle formed by this diameter and this radius is known as 1 radian. So the angle formed between this diameter and this radius is actually known as 1 radian. So based on this, what we can say is 1 radian is the angle subtended at the center of any circle by an arc of circle equal in length to the radius. What we see here is 1 radian is actually the angle subtended by this arc AC on the center, such that the length of this arc is equal to the radius of the circle. So this is known as 1 radian. So in the circular system, the unit of measurement is 1 radian, and 1 radian is actually the angle subtended at the center of any circle by an arc of circle equal to the radius of the circle. Now let us see the relation between degree and radian. So earlier we have seen the relation between degree and grade. Now we got to see the relation between degree and radian. Now again, let's consider a circle. Let us say that this is a circle with the center as O. Now let's consider a particle which is located at this position. It lies at this point on the circumference. Now if we say that this particle moves along the circumference and it again reaches the same point. Now in the radian system, what would be this angle equal in measure? This would be equal to 2 pi. Why this angle would be equal to 2 pi radians? This is because we know that if the length of arc is equal to r units, then it subtends 1 radian at the center. Here the arc would be equal to 2 pi r, which is the circumference. Therefore the angle subtended by this entire portion would be equal to 2 pi. So from this, what we can say is 2 pi is equal to 360 degrees. We know that a circle represents 360 degrees. Thus we can say that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. Thus this is the relation between radians and degrees. That is, pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. Or further we can say that 1 radian is equal to 180 by pi, and which is equal to 57 degrees 16 minutes approximately. So the approximate value of 1 radian is equal to 57 degrees 16 minutes. Now this is conversion of radian into degree. Now what about the conversion of degree to radian? For that, the relation is 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 degree of a radian. Simply here the basic relation is pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. This relation can be used to convert an angle in degree form to a radian form or vice versa. Now let us see some of the very important conversions, that is from radian to degree. And these are some of the very important angles that you are going to come across throughout the study of trigonometry. So let us say that this portion represents the angles in radian form and this represents the angles in degree form. So if the angle is equal to pi radians, then in the degree form that would be equal to 180 degrees. So pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. If the measure of angle is pi by 3 radians, then in the degree form this is equivalent to 60 degrees. So pi by 3 radians is equal to 60 degrees. Similarly, if the angle is pi by 6 radians, then in the degree form it is equal to 30 degrees. So pi by 6 radians is actually equal to 30 degrees. Now if the angle is equal to pi by 4, then in the degree form this is equivalent to 45 degrees. So we can write an angle as 45 degrees or pi by 4. Both are the same. If the angle is equal to pi by 2, it is equal to 90 degrees. So we can write 90 degree as equal to pi by 2. Similarly, if the measure of angle is equal to 2 pi by 3 radians, then in the degree form this is actually equivalent to 120 degrees. Similarly, if the angle is equal to 5 pi by 6 radians, then in the degree form that would be equivalent to 150 degrees. In the radian form, if the angle is equal to 7 pi by 6, is equal to 210 degrees. Let's take the angle as 3 pi by 4. So if the angle is 3 pi by 4 radians, then in the degree form this is equivalent to 135 degrees. We know that pi by 4 is nothing but equal to 45 degrees. So 3 pi by 4 would be simply 3 into pi by 4, which is 3 into 45, and thus this gives the value as 135 degrees. Similarly, if the angle is 5 pi by 4, equivalent of this in degree form would be, that would be equal to 225 degrees. Why? Because pi by 4 is equal to 45 and we multiply it by 5 to get the answer as 225 degrees. Thus, these are some of the very important angles in radians and these are the equivalents in the degree form. Let's now see the relation between the systems of measurements of angles, that is in the degree form, radian form and in the grade form. So the relation is d by 90 is equal to g by 100, which is equal to 2c by pi. Simply this is the relation between the three systems of measurement, which is d by 90 equal to g by 100, which is equal to 2c by pi. So d represents the angle in degree, g represents the angle in grade and c represents the angle in pi. This relationship helps us to convert the angle in one form to the other.